Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off, weirdly enough, I know, by throwing the Bear Cave, the leg of the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, you can go ahead and lurk. That's also okay. It is indeed a Thursday evening, and I got this cool model kit to work on. The Dragon Gundam High Grade, which is a premium Bandai kit. Working on that from G Gundam. Got a little bit of that right here that I'm working on. So that's the agenda for tonight, is to continue to work on that kit. Working on the arms right now. Hey, Lashbrook, welcome. Tonight we'll be talking about that. We'll also be working on a few things, working on this kit, talking about some things and things. I got a manga that I've been reading. I got anime I'm watching, which was very fun. That episode was Sorairo Utility was really fucking fun. So we'll talk about that in the second hour, and then some news of the world to chat a bit about, which we'll get into as well. Let's go to the overhead camera right now. And yeah, so you can see here. I did run into an issue. I say we sometimes, but I meant me. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. I did run into an issue here where I put together part of the arm here, because the dragon claw is part of the arm, or dragon face, I should say, is part of the arm, and I had messed up a piece there, so this wasn't really closing properly. Now it does. I fixed that on both these, and also panel lined it off stream just to get it going there. So I got these nice and panel lines ready for that. Along with the shoulders are done. So now we've done we can put those aside a bit, because these are the parts we need for the right arm, which we'll be working on here, working on the rest of the arm, connecting these 2 points here, building the hands, put that together, do the same thing on the other side. You get it. I didn't know this was going to end up being a bigger news story. It's gotten covered here in on Game Developer, because it was just a voice actor on Blue Sky talking about their role, an issue that they were having, and of course they didn't call out who it was. The voice actor, Marin Miller, who voices Athena in Hades and also Hades 2, didn't call out Supergiant by name. Just said, if you want to send a giant email, it would be super helpful if you sent a giant email. So I have context that needs to be given for all of this. I've got a rant in me about this stuff. As you know, I'm vocal about unions, being pro-union. My own personal experience with it is that I still get residuals from some union acting gigs in SAG-AFTRA, despite not being in the union, because I worked on union shows, because that's how it works. The union protects me, even though I didn't, because it was a show that was under the umbrella of working with there. Now, a bunch of stories that came around here, there's some stuff to unpack. I just want to say right off the bat, if a video game studio decides that they are not going to be a union house, that they are not going to negotiate with SAG-AFTRA for contracts for their voice talent, that is not because they are afraid that they won't be able to work with people who are non-union. That's not the fucking case. And I need to be very clear about that, because there's a bunch of people going, well, if they weren't union, then if they were union, they couldn't work with some of the voice actors that you like in the game, because those voice actors aren't really voice actors. They just do voice acting, but they work for Supergiant. And that's the case with a bunch of these other companies. If it was a union thing, then these actors who aren't union wouldn't be able to work. And that's not fucking true. I need you to understand that's not true. I am proof of that, because I have worked for shows that were that were union, being non-union. You sign, and also should also say, there's a thing called a waiver. And voice acting waivers happen all the time, because there are a lot of voice acting people who are in SAG-AFTRA who do work that is not part of the union, and they have to sign waivers, and it's a risk thing that they have to take, and they don't want to do it, but sometimes you do it, especially with commercials, because you'd be amazed how many commercials that air on network television are non-union through various loopholes. It's gross and sucks. Voice acting, a lot of voice acting is non-union with union talent. Now, currently, SAG-AFTRA actors who do voiceover work are on strike and not doing voiceover work for in video games while they negotiate. That branch of SAG-AFTRA is really going after trying to get in protections for AI, which, to be fair, to give them credit, Supergiant Games has said, hey, we also, our contracts that we have with people say that we have protections for AI, which is great. Love to hear it. But their own statement saying, hey, the thing that was set out today, we're not replacing people, we're not blah, 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 none of this is happening. Don't worry about it. But they even, make sure to make it clear, they're not a union house. They don't sign SAG-AFTRA contracts for various reasons. And we'll get into that a little bit more later. But the reason why studios, commercial agencies, anything like that, the reason why they don't work union is not because they feel like there's a limited pool if they choose to work union or not. That's not the case. The reason is a variety of reasons, but generally, one of the major reasons is it costs money. Because if you want to have, or more money, if you want to have union talent or non-union talent in your union thing, you got to pay that non-union talent union rates. At the very least, you have to pay them the minimum. And you have to, the taxes have to come out of it. And like I said, residuals have to get paid. I get paid for the, every now and again, I get a check, sometimes very small, sometimes pretty good, for the work I did in the past. Again, work I did for a union house while I was non-union. Because that's the way of operating business. Now, what's happened is Marion Miller is saying, hey, Supergiant is not offering me a contract under SAG-AFTRA. They are not doing something in good faith here. They are not going out of their way to say, we're going to do an interim contract, which some studios are doing, saying, hey, the studios at large have not agreed to any of this, but we are going to agree to that. That's how A24 got to put movies out during the SAG-AFTRA strike. Because A24 said, we're going to sign the contract that you want us to sign ahead of other major studios. We're just going to do it, which is what some studios have been doing, and which allows them to have union contracts or to have union actors because they're just signing it. Supergiant Games isn't doing that. They have their own contracts, and they are continuing to do their own thing with their own contracts. Now, some of those contracts apparently are not something that a SAG-AFTRA person would want to sign because SAG-AFTRA contracts, SAG has lawyers. They will go after you. If Supergiant Games decides to breach the contract that you have with them, it's not protected by the union and you're at a loss. Now, they're good people. I know. Greg Kasavman is a great dude. I'm not saying they would break that contract, but I am saying that it would be very foolish for any actor of any stripe to sign a contract like that. And why don't they? Why don't they? Is it just a matter of money? Kind of. Here's one of the reasons why a studio, I'm not saying exactly Supergiant Games, but why a studio like Supergiant Games would not want to have a union contract for voiceover work. Despite Hades being a huge hit, Hades 2 selling well in the lead up to the game coming out officially in early access, certainly going to be a big deal and a lot of attention and all that. Why wouldn't they want to sign a contract, Pat, like this? Why wouldn't they want to be a union house? One is definitely money, costs more, minimums and all that. And two is A studio like Supergiant Games has people working for them who also do voices for the game or the games. And I don't know the situation with Supergiant. I cannot speak on how their contracts work. But a lot of times in these situations, in small companies, developers, self-publishers like them, and larger companies, as large up all the way to being bought out and then sold off again, Gearbox. A lot of Gearbox games had employees of Gearbox as voice actors. This is a thing that dates back to early game dev, when you didn't have a budget. You didn't have a budget for that. So you just got people to go into the booth. Now, not all the time, sometimes, but not all the time. Sorry, this is a bad printing here, so I am constantly redoing this arm here because I'm afraid I'm going to do it wrong, so my apologies while I'm being slow about that while I'm ranting. Now, some companies, when you get an employee for the company to come in and do some of that work for voiceover work, will pay them a separate deal. But other companies won't, because you're already under contract to do work. You're just doing bonus work because you're part of the team. You're part of the family. So, hey, could you come in? Hey, you wrote this character. Why don't you voice it? That would be fun. That would be neat. You're not going to get residuals for it. You're not going to get if you damage your voice while doing it, well, you can still do your other parts of your job. So don't worry about, there's no time off, nothing for that. No protections for you on that. We don't owe you anything on if the game sells well, and none of that, because you already work here. Which has happened for a variety of people I know in a variety of gaming jobs where they did more than what was on their, what was their title. And that's what happens here in Supergiant, is if Supergiant had to go union, if they signed a SAG-AFTRA contract and anyone that was doing voiceover work for them had to be within SAG-AFTRA, either a member or the minimum, then they would have to pay voice actors rates for employees who may be doing it for free or scale or a favor or below minimum, a bonus. And then that makes it very fucking difficult to do that. Except you should just fucking do it. But it makes people go, oh. Does anyone doing VGVA earn residuals? I thought they were trying to fight for that a while back. So, Lastbrook, one of the things in this new contract that they have been fighting for, that the major gaming studios have signed off on, is residuals. The one that's being held up right now because of and also it is not. We don't know, but it is assumed that one of the reasons why they gave up their fight against residuals was because they were hoping that that SAG-AFTRA would cave on AI, because SAG-AFTRA outside of the video game industry caved on AI. That part of the deal is bad when it comes to AI. So they're hoping that this would also be bad as far as AI goes. Exact specifics, I'm not an expert on, so my apologies for that. I'm speaking a lot in generalities. I'm speaking from my own personal experience my friends have had in the voiceover world, and their dealings, their consistent dealings with that. Okay, this is right. And then this would be like this. Yeah, okay. I think I have done this correctly. If I haven't done this correctly, I can fucking fix it, but I believe I have done this right. And this is how the arm should go. Then I just have to get this part together here. Okay, so then this bends like this, and this bends like this, and I did this right. And it took a long time for me to feel like that was correct, but that is correct. Okay, we're moving on. So yeah. Basically, Marin was like, I'm afraid that I might get recast because eventually they're going to want to put out that fucking video game. And if the contracts aren't in place, then that's not going to happen because I'm on strike right now. But they're basically, Supergiant Games said, hey, we're not going to recast anybody. We want to keep working with people. This does not, the article here, and then we got further up here, why they might turn down a contract from a non-union client, even if the client offers robust protections against using their voice in generative AI. They explained that as a union member, they received a legal protection from SAG-AFTRA that can go after any company that decides to violate the terms of the contract. I can't afford a lawyer without the union. So basically, that's it. It's not saying, hey, I want to have a union. It's like, I want to have a union contract with you because I can't afford to go after you if you fuck around. Which is understandable and reasonable. And yeah, it's like, well, they wouldn't. But how do you know? Shit happens. And maybe they broke the contract for a very good reason. You know, that kind of shit. All that stuff. And again, they are not accusing Supergiant of anything. But yeah. So yeah, there's a standstill right now where that at least one actor on Hades 2, at least one voice actor on Hades 2 is saying they're not going to work. They're only going to work on projects assigned to a SAG-AFTRA interim agreement. And Supergiant says they're going to respect people that have to pause work because of the ongoing strike, which is not the, also must make clear, not the same thing. That's not the same thing at all. Yeah, it's messy. I like Greg. I like Supergiant. I liked Hades. Hades was great. I haven't played Hades 2. I probably will at some point. But again, as your friend who is staunchly pro-union, particularly in entertainment fields, because that was where I was doing union work, but also in all fields. It's disappointing and frustrating because I know why Supergiant isn't signing that interim agreement. I know why they have their own contracts that are outside of the union, and they're not specifically doing union work. I know why they're doing that, and they don't get a pass just because I like them. Nah, definitely not. Because I have a bunch of friends who did voice acting work for incredibly popular games and didn't earn a dime for doing that work because they were employees already, so they were getting paid for other things. And that sucks, and I don't like it, and I hate that. I hate that shit. But I did see some people being like, trying to explain it because they like the company or whatever, and trying to be like, well, see, I'm not anti-union. It's just that if they were a union thing, then they couldn't hire people who are not in the union. It's like, that's a lie. That's just inaccurate. If it's not a lie, then you're just in it. You just don't know what you're talking about, because they can. It's just the other part of it is, again, then you have to pay at least the minimums, and they don't want to do that. They want voice acting work for free. Because why wouldn't they want voice acting work for free from people that work for the company? Come in on your off time and do it. Don't you want to be a team player? Ugh, sucks. I just think it sucks. And you can do non-union work. Certainly, you can do non-union work if you don't want to. I am not saying that every actor wants to be in a union. There was a time where being an AFTRA, pre-merger with SAG, before they merged with SAG, it was a fucking bummer sometimes to be in AFTRA. I'll give you a specific example. Let's say that you are in your 20s and you're in New York City and you're a comedian. You're a comedian in New York, and so you're auditioning for things during the day. You're auditioning for comedy stuff and non-comedy stuff and commercials and just trying to make a living. You got a day job. You're doing your thing, and you, because of connections and your friends and whatever, your name gets floated to a casting director who calls you up and says, "Hey, I do casting for Late Night with Conan O'Brien. We got a bit we'd love to have you in if you're available." And you say, "Well, that's an after show. I'm not in AFTRA." Again, this is pre-SAG-AFTRA. This is pre-merger between the Screen Actors Guild and the guild, basically, that deals with television and radio and stage acting. And so you go, "I'm not in AFTRA. Is that okay?" And you say, "Oh, yeah." You'll just ask for a waiver. You'll just ask for a waiver. It's totally okay because it was under AFTRA. So Conan, the show Conan, was an after show. So they got to pay and do all that. There was a point where AFTRA would look out for you, no problem, if you were doing a show for a while. And then if you made enough money, you would become a must join. So there would be people who would turn down Conan because they'd be like, "Sorry, I've already done it enough that AFTRA is going to come after me. Please keep me in mind for future stuff next year, once it's blown over and resets, or next quarter," because you must join. And what they would do is, what AFTRA would do was, if you just said, "I'm actually not an actor, I don't have plans to join the union because I don't work enough to pay the dues," right? That's the big issue with why some people don't want to be union, because they don't think they're going to earn enough money to pay for the dues, or they have health insurance. One of the major reasons to get into AFTRA or SAG-AFTRA is health insurance, but other people have health insurance from their day jobs, and they're just like, "I just do this for fun. I'm not trying to make this a career, so I don't want to join." Eventually, AFTRA would just start garnishing your wages. They'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, you can't keep doing that." And then they would basically take the dues out of the money that you had made from that, and then you would be forced to join. And then you hopefully would do enough after work in various places to make sense for it. Once SAG and AFTRA merged, that pretty much went away. There is no forced joins. There is a maximum amount of money, or there is a threshold that if you reach that threshold, and again, I don't remember what it is because it's been a very long time since I had to look at that, but there is a period where you can hit the threshold and you are then forced to join, but it's a much higher threshold. You don't have I don't have any, like I said, I get residuals. The money that I had for that for these jobs I did were reasonable. They were pretty fucking good, but they weren't that good when I did when I did Broad City, and certainly the money I made on the Hulu show that I did was terrible money, but it was minimums. It was minimums for internet. Even if it was for Hulu, it was still internet. So it wasn't great, but also I was just happy to do it, and to be asked was really nice. And if whatever, and I didn't have to join the union, but also I don't have health insurance through the union or anything like that. And I also would have not qualified for it because I didn't work enough to justify that. So it's fine. That, to me, that was fine. I was like, yeah, all right, okay. But I was on a television show many years ago, non-speaking role, did not get paid for it, had to sign so many fucking documents to say that I understood that I was not getting paid for this and I had no recourse and all this. So I am in the pilot episode for like 10, 15 seconds, non-speaking, non-verbal, reactionary shot in Fat Guy Stuck in Internet. If you don't remember that television show, I don't blame you. It is a Adult Swim show. It was the second ever live action Adult Swim show. The first ever was Hans and the Mole People, which was like a send up of big puppet monster stuff. And then Fat Guy Stuck in Internet was like, what if guys born in the mid 80s made a show that was like Tron, basically. And it was a web series they sold and produced with new episodes and new content produced by Adult Swim. It was the second live action show. Now, through various means, the idea behind it in Adult Swim in the production studios was, if we add a certain amount of animation, then it won't count as then we won't have to be a union house. That was the plan. That's what they did with Hans. Even though it was going to air on Adult Swim, actual fucking television, they were going to try to do it non-union because they were going to treat it as an animation show with live action elements, even though it fucking didn't have that. Because that's where they were going to do all their shows. Eventually, Tim and Eric, that's a union show. But Tom Goes the Mayor was animation. Rotoscoping, whatever. That's animation. But they ran into a problem. Fat Guy Stuck in Internet ran into a problem, which was the stars of it, John Gemberling, Curtis Gwynn, were union actors. They were in AFTRA. So they couldn't be non-union. Had to be a union show. So they didn't do any animation because they didn't need any animation. It was going to be a live action show. So I'm in that show in the very first episode. The hope was that if they got brought back, they got more episodes, then some of the people, myself, my buddy Dan, MC Chris is in there, that we would have gotten brought back in. I think Chris has lines in it. We would have got brought back in as the cast of people that work in this office once John got unstuck from the internet. The titular fat guy. That was the plan. So I did it as a favor. I was already in bits with them. I liked those guys a lot. They said, hey, we can't pay you. We do not have the money to pay you. But if you sign, so you're going to have to sign a bunch of waivers. You're not in the union, that this is a union show, but basically you're just signing some waivers saying like that you understand that and whatever. And I did. Should I have done that? Debatable, but I did do it. I probably should have not appeared in it, but whatever. It was a TV credit, and I wanted a TV credit, and I wanted them to succeed, so I said yes. Even though, again, should I have said yes? Probably not. Now, another thing about waiving when it comes to acting is actors' equity. You may have even seen this if you ever gone to a like an off Broadway production, a non-union production, and you get your playbill. You may have seen in that playbill that there'd be like the cast list, and there'd be like a little like dot next to a little star next to a couple actors' names. And then you drop down to the bottom of it, and it says a note like such and such are in here at the behest, not behest, I don't know. Basically saying, hey, these people are union, but they got wavered from Actors Equity, and they have to include that as part of the waiver process, saying like, because they're working a non-union house for below minimum standards, it's their choice. You can only do that so many times a year, but they made the request for it, and they were granted that request, and that's basically how that works. But you have to include that. Same reason that some actors who are in the union voiceover can do non-union voice acting work. You're signing a waiver. You can only do it so many times. They don't want you to fucking do it because they want minimum standards and they want shows to be, or productions to be, union. Lastbrook says, you said this a little while ago. I just had some stuff that I wanted to say about that and get that out there and finish my anecdote about the fact that I've been on Adult Swim show for a very brief moment. Yeah, I made the mistake, Lastbrook says, of looking at the replies to SG's announcement, and it seemed like a lot of people who had no idea how things work. Yeah. So, hey, if you've ever heard that, well, if you're union, you can't, if it's a union the gig, then non-union actors can't work on it. You know who likes to say that? People who don't want to work union. Production houses that don't want to work union. Events that don't want to be union. They're the ones that are going to tell you, oh, well, we can't. Well, if we did that, then we wouldn't be able to work. We couldn't get these people. These fine people wouldn't be able to be part of our production. We're just trying to book the right people. I'll say this. If fucking the people, if Soft Not Weak, the people that made Spirit Swap can do union contracts for their voiceover talent, then Supergiant Games can fucking do it. If you told me that Soft Not Weak, if every voice actor in that was also an employee of the game, I'd understand it. Because they're an incredibly small team working on their first game that they did kickstart, but still. Like, I would believe you. If you told me that, like, oh, yeah, that's all in-house. That's all friends doing favors. Like, I totally believe you because it wouldn't be right or good, but it would be understandable. But Supergiant can do it, too, if they wanted to. They could easily do it. They could easily work union. Have every voiceover actor there signed to the union contract minimum for non-union folks that are coming through. They could do it in a heartbeat. They just have to want to do that. And it's fucking expensive to do that. And then you're paying some of your employees twice. How are you going to fucking do that? How are you going to justify that? It's a mess. It's a fucking mess. And I'm not trying to pretend like it's... A bunch of people were like, oh, this seems complicated. And I'm like, I don't want to be an asshole and say it's actually fucking not complicated at all. It's not complicated. It's not complicated in the slightest. It's just... The complication is how mad do I want to be at people I like? And that's really what it is, to me anyway. That's what it comes down to. It's like, how mad do I want to be at people that I think are pretty fucking cool? That's the complicated thing. The idea that union actors want union pay and union contracts is not revolutionary or weird or anything like that. People who worked, who negotiated union voiceover gigs with Crunchyroll found out that they are replaceable when Sony bought out Crunchyroll and they moved all of their voiceover work from home or LA or New York to only Dallas, which is where Funimation did all its voice. And that's to limit the kinds of upward trajectory that voiceover actors can get. And they were like, and they didn't honor union contracts because they don't want to, because it costs fucking money to do that. If you ever wondered why around the time that Sony bought out Crunchyroll, why some voice actors suddenly weren't in the production, some of the dub voice actors suddenly weren't the same. That's one of the reasons why. Is not the only reason why? No, but it's one of the major reasons why. Because they're like, oh no, we're gonna go all in-house. It's like, oh yeah? Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, we're only gonna do it in Texas. Because that's where our studios are located. Oh, what about the other studios you had? That you kept? No, oh no, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I got a bunch of video game stuff, good and bad, to talk about. One quick thing I did want to say is about one positive thing that I'll mention here is, hey, there's a video game coming out called Samurai Pizza Cat's Blast from the Past. It is a new video game for the franchise Samurai Pizza Cats, which is fucking ridiculous that's coming out. This is a licensed product. Blast Zero, who are probably best known for Jitsu Squad, which was a Kickstarter game. Basically, that they made their game, and then there was talk. They got they worked with a studio to publish it in Japan, and in the process of that, they were talking to people about like other licenses, other projects, because that Japanese studio wanted to do more work with them. And so they were like, that one of the things on their list was Samurai Pizza Cats, which got they're a Dutch studio, and one of the things they wanted to do was Samurai Pizza Cats, and they got it. Now, if you don't know anything about Kyoto Ninden Teinde, Teinde, that's what it is. Kyoto Ninden. If you don't know anything about that, aka Samurai Pizza Cats, it was a cartoon. It came out in 1990 in Japan and several years later in America. But we'll call it Samurai Pizza Cats from this point on. So basically, it's a comedy. It's a comedy about samurai cats that run a pizza place and get into antics. Now, they made the smart thing. When it got licensed for the United States, a smart decision was made, which was, this shit is not gonna work. These jokes, like a direct localization of these jokes, is not gonna fly, because this is a dense, heavy, jokey fucking thing. And it's just not gonna fly. It's not gonna work. So the decision was made to do a wild localization of Samurai Pizza Cats. Jokes are very different. 2 episodes didn't even air. There was some footage that was chopped here and there. Not super. It's not Ghost Stories where it's completely out the window. But it was just basic thing was like the plot is very similar. They just added a lot of jokes that like were pop culture references. They just made it their own with permission. So this studio is doing a Samurai Pizza Cats game. It's a side scroller with a top-down overworld, like a going to town, but it also is sometimes side scrolling. It is an action platformer RPG, and you can switch anytime between the Pizza Cats. They've got most of the voice acting cast of the dub and the original English and Japanese voice acting talent. They got most of them, the ones that are still with us. Basically, everyone's coming back as much as they could. And one of the coolest things about Samurai Pizza Cat's Blast from the Past is that while it's obviously done, a lot of it's done digitally, they did sell Blast Zero learned how to do cell animation. They learned how to draw on cells, and then they digitized those drawings to animate them digitally. But it looks very hand drawn because everything was decided in a hand drawn style, and then they just went and then animated that after the fact. And that whips ass. It looks so fucking fun and cool. I am heavily nostalgic for Samurai Pizza Cats, and I went back and watched them. I had an idea for a podcast that I never did, where every episode of the podcast would be watching one episode of the show, and one episode, like watching the episode, the dub episode and the sub episode, and then comparing and contrasting them. I never got that podcast off the ground. I'm saying it out loud because I'm never going to do it. That would be a limited run of 52 weeks of a podcast, but it was a fun project. You know what I mean? It's just a cool idea, and I was just psyched about that shit. Nearly all of your actor. Also, they got some of the artists to come back, and one of the English localization writers is working on it as well, which is just really wild. You can wishlist it on the Epic Store. That's just neat. Samurai Pizza Cats was a fun anime to watch in an era where there weren't a lot of anime on television. The fact that they're doing new cell animation for this is bonkers. Yeah, Lashbrook, it's fucking wild that they learned how to do cell animation to then and like I said, a lot of it's going to be in digital, but the actual animation, the move sets and all of that were done first as cells in cell shading, or were done in cells, I should say, and that's just cool. Let's see. We should talk about some bummer shit in gaming. There were a bunch of layoffs here. So we should talk about that. We'll start with Night School Studio, who is the folks that brought you Oxenfree, that are part of Netflix. They launched Oxenfree 2 in 2023. And apparently, it seems like Netflix isn't as excited about games as they once were. Most likely, whoever was pushing for that doesn't work for them anymore, which often happens with those things. And whoever inherited it is just like, wait, why do we have video games? Or it didn't move the needle enough. Not enough people get Netflix or keep Netflix to play video games is probably the actual answer as to why this is happening the way it is. Again, I'm making wild speculations here. But yeah, multiple workers have been made redundant, which is, I hate saying. They were acquired in 2021. And of course, their statement is it's not going to affect what they're currently working on, that's impossible to know. What are you talking about? This comes months after they closed Team Blue, and lots of other stuff happening in there. Oh yes, I should say, the former boss of Netflix Games left Netflix Games to become the VP of Gen AI within Netflix. So he's got a new thing he's excited about, and whoever's coming in is now, been mandated to move stuff around. Netflix Games has over 80 mobile titles playable on Android and iOS smart devices. And then also there's a beta in some regions to play them. And we don't know how many people actually play them and how they're doing. I finished the arm here. Arm is done. I'm sorry. I got to do hands. I didn't finish hands. I said I'm done with this, but I'm not done with this because I still have a hand to put on here. What am I even saying? Got to build one more hand. Let's do the palm. We'll do the palm one. That's B32 and B33. So that's a shame. A VR developer called Toast Interactive has laid off the majority of its staff, which is unfortunately no surprise when it comes to VR. The fact that there are still VR studios isn't surprising, but it is like, you're like, oh, good for them. Basically, they're not doing any new games. They laid everybody off, and the people that aren't laid off are the ones that are supporting the games they currently have out, Richie's Plank Experience and Max Mustard, which are both good names. Now, apparently, they'd already laid off 10 people previously at the end of last year. And there are more layoffs here. I do not know exact number. of how many people were laid off, but it seems like, again, the majority and a lot of those teams are definitely dealing with that. And then there were layoffs at Marvel Rivals. I understand that this is more complicated than was first necessarily reported. That does not change a lot of the facts about this layoffs here. Basically, NetEase laid off a number of Marvel Rivals developers based in the United States, in Seattle, including the director of the satellite studio, not a Marvel Rivals, not the director of Marvel Rivals, a director of Marvel Rivals who was basically the person running that studio for them. Which is, its language is important to include because it's necessary to have specifics when we're talking about these things. Now, also, NetEase wants us to know that Marvel Rivals has surpassed 40 million players worldwide. And they had over 10 million users within 72 hours of launch. So yes, you can get laid off working for a company that has a huge hit. You can work on a huge hit and get laid off. You can work on a dud and get laid off. You can be part of a company where a game did poorly and you had nothing to do with that game because you're working on something else and get laid off. It is entirely possible that you can just get laid off for any number of reasons. And being in a mega hit, making Overwatch, but with Marvel, which is played, again, by over 40 million players. Not enough. It does seem like these layoffs happened because NetEase is trying to back out of having American employees. One could make an assumption that studio existing was because they had a game coming out, with a U.S. property that is global, but U.S. property, and that was for localization, for vibe base, for checking in, for dealing with having a studio that can talk in the native language of the people you're negotiating with. Any of those reasons, right? But it is a thing where, obviously, when you hear that there are layoffs at people who've been working on a success story like Marvel Rivals, it does feel like fucking bullshit. And it does feel like you're like, well, what the fuck? What do you talk, like, what are we doing here? And their NetEase statement basically was just like, hey, we're not giving up on Marvel Rivals, which is not what people were asking about. But that's where their priorities are, and it's understandable, even if it's shitty. But yeah, they're just like, oh, just so you know, like, yeah, we laid people off, but that's not because we're going to stop supporting the game. There's more coming out with the game. Don't worry about the game. And it's like, okay, that's not what we're worried about. We're like, why the fuck couldn't you find more work for those people anywhere else? Like, why would anyone want to work for you if you can't have a job making a huge hit? Like, why would anyone want to continue to do this job? B28 and B26 I got to pull out here. I don't know. It's just fucked. See, they talked about a bunch of stuff. It just sucks. I'm gonna check this article here. Yeah, that's just a bummer. In good news, some good news in some good gaming news. Mouthwashing has sold over 500 copies, and that's before their console ports come out. That's awesome news. Congratulations to the folks at What Brought You Mouthwashing. Wrong Organ. The people that brought you mouthwashing have sold over 500,000 copies since September 2024. This was a hit with streamers, and streamers definitely helped sell some copies of this particular video game, which is not surprising because it was viscerally pretty unique and interesting. And so I am not surprised that streamers latched onto it, and that seemingly helped with sales. Let's see. Upon release, the psychological horror game received critical acclaim, nominated and won several end of the year awards, which is totally understandable because people were pretty into it. Oops, I put this on backwards. Hold on. Oh no. Pretty sure I just put this on backwards. Almost the same issues that I had with the legs here. Doing it again. Oh wait, is that right? No, that's probably wrong. Again, some of this is a little hard for me to see, so my apologies. But I think I did this wrong, so now I gotta try to pry this open so I can flip it over and do it properly. There we go. Whew. This should come off now. But yeah, they have console ports coming out. So that, there is an expectation that they will sell pretty well on consoles as well, which is awesome. But I didn't want to include that because that was nice. Port PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch in digital and physical editions expected later this year. That's just cool. I wanted to have like a piece of nice news in a sea of not the nicest news. I wanted to have like at least one thing that I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right, so we gotta put this on here. Gonna put this on, and then just make sure that I'm doing this correctly. Yeah. I'm 99% sure I am doing this correctly, but we'll find out if I did something about this wrong. We'll find out pretty soon if I did it wrong. And then, hey, Konami, for the 4th year in a row, is raising base salaries of Japanese workers. Konami, who has sometimes has had a reputation, apparently, doing better in that regard, which we love to hear. It's nice. Again, nice to have a little bit of nice news here. 4th consecutive fiscal year, Konami has increased the base salary for Japanese developers starting in March 2026. That'll go into effect, and that's cool. We love to hear it. The base pay, is an increase of about $32 a month, which is about $395 a year. And again, that's base pay. Is that a lot? No, but it is significant in a country that is the yen is not the strongest in the world. So it's something, it's still something to be happy about. Let's see. Starting salary for new graduates is being raised from the traditional 300,000 yen to 305,000 yen. So yeah, that's something. But yeah. But also, like, Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 sold. Hey, Dirty. Silent Hill 2 sold really, really well. The remake, and they were not expecting it to do as well as it did. So that's nice. And then they also have, I don't know if Snake Eater is going to resell. that well or sell that well, but who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe it will do really, really well. I don't know. I have not heard a lot of buzz, but maybe I'm just not. My ear is not to the right ground, so I'm not hearing the buzz. But I haven't really been hearing the buzz when it comes to that. Looks like we did part of the legs here, and now we're moving on to doing the feet. So we'll jump on that. We'll get some pieces together here for the feet, and then work on that after the pause for the cause, which is coming up. I need to find that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So 23 and 24. Yeah, got that. Our red feet here for our Dragon Gundam. In the second hour, I will talk about a manga I've been reading and an anime that I have been watching, which was a really fun episode. Goddamn, really fun. And then also talk about some gaming that I have been playing and talking about what y'all are up to. And then we'll end the stream with a raid, as we always do. It's been a little light tonight, which is okay. I should tell you personal stuff. I'll drop a personal thing. I'm wearing a hoodie. I don't often wear a hoodie because it is a little restrictive. Layers and all that. Lord Crashly wants me to dance button, which I will hit. That'll also help warm me up. Because, hey, guess what, everybody? It's fucking cold over here. Whoops, that's the wrong button. I hit the wrong button. And there's no way to stop it. I hit the wrong button. We just have to listen to that. Now I'm going to hit the dance button. Wait, god damn it. What happened? God damn it. What the fuck? God damn it. It's just, there it goes. Okay. I don't know why the fuck that happened. It didn't stop. There we go. Lord Crash says we hit 20 degrees today for the first time since Sunday. I love to hear that for you. It's just, it warmed up like the middle of last week. It warmed up and it wasn't bad. And then for some reason, it just got real bad around here. Real cold and rainy. It was rainy earlier in the week. Just fucking sucks. But I hope this weekend it warms up some because it's just, I don't like it. I want to walk. I want to go for a walk and it's too fucking cold. Like it's just not healthy or smart, but I don't like being cooped up in this house. I did leave on Tuesday to go to the post office. So that was me leaving the house, which was nice. But I just don't want to, I want to just get out of here. I did some yard work and I had to put on a winter hat and gloves and then like my dad's jacket that I dug into the closet and got a jacket out because I needed to wear it because I was like, well, I can't go into the post, not post, I can't go to my mailbox, and then also bird feeder needs bird seed, and I was like, I can't do any of that dressed like this. I gotta layer up. It sucks. It's been a single digit wind chill here, which is kind of weird for Central Texas. Yeah, Lashbrook, like I said, it just, I'm in South Carolina and it can get a little chilly in February. This is the month where it gets chilly, but it's bad. And also, I'm not in my bedroom right now where the warmest room in the house, it gets toasty in there, which is awesome because all the heat and all that. But yeah, right now outside, in here, it's in the 60s. Don't worry about it. But outside, it's 29 degrees, which is too fucking cold. It looks like on Friday, Friday's also going to be in the 30s and 40s. That's not great. Saturday, it'll almost get to 50 on Saturday. That's nice. That's nice. It's bad. This is bad. Let me check the 10-day. All right, next week it warms up for me. Next Thursday, high of 65. Love to see that. You love it. And Tuesday as well. Okay, so it is going to get warm next week. We are going to get some rain next weekend. Not this weekend, but the next weekend. And the week after that, looks like some rain. That's fine. It's too early to, believe that. And we also need the rain. So that's good. But yeah, it got fucking cold again. And I hate it. Hopefully it'll warm up some. Anyway, Now is the part of the stream where I'm going to talk to you. That's right, you, about ways that you can help what I do here. I'll try to go through this fast because, like I said, we're small but mighty tonight. There are not a lot of us here in chat. And I believe almost all of you, if not all of you, are subscribers. But hey, speaking on that, if you're a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money, your Prime Gaming token. You could gift a sub. We've had 0 gifted subs this month. If you want to gift a sub to somebody in the community, you could do that. You could gift a sub. That's nice. It's fun. You can do that if you want to. Also, bits and coins always appreciated. We haven't had any cheer this month, which is okay. Hey, Aristophan. But if you wanted to throw some bits my way, you could do that. There are other ways to support me. I have a Patreon. Now, hey, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tiers on my Patreon. My $5 and $10 patrons just got to watch a video that I posted today that everybody else is going to watch tomorrow, which I'll talk about in a bit. But it's a thing called a mailbag video, and I recorded a new mailbag video, so I'm excited about that. I got a cool model kit. I'll talk more about that later. But anyway, you can join my Patreon. And then I got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Subscribing to YouTube is free, so if you want to subscribe there, please do. Would love to see the number go up on that. And there's the thing called memberships. For $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. I send you a message, and you can watch that a day early. So if you want to see my weekly Wednesday series and get the heads up, you could do that. That's a thing you could do. Those are all monthly ways to support me financially. If you want to just throw a tip in the tip jar, or, I got a PayPal, I got a Ko-Fi, you could jump in on that if you want to do that. I'll put links there in the chat there, and these are all in the show description on YouTube. What's up, VOD watchers? Hello. You can check that out there. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps you out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I have money to then get model kits, like the very kit we're working on right here. I pre-ordered this last year, and I was only able to do that because we had a good run of subscriptions, and it made complete and total financial sense for me to be able to pre-order a kit that I wasn't going to get for a while. So if you would like to subscribe or gift a sub or do any of those things, that would be great. Now, the next thing I'm going to be building after this is done was purchased off my Amazon wish list. And there'll be a video that goes out tomorrow about that my $5 and $10 patrons already got to watch, but everybody else can watch it tomorrow. So somebody bought something off my Amazon wish list, and then I'm going to build it next. If you would also like to do something like that, jump the queue, have a dedicated YouTube video about the thing you purchased, you could do that. My Amazon wish list has inexpensive kits all the way up to incredibly expensive kits. Stuff that is never on sale. Stuff that would take me an hour to build on stream. Some of these kits would not take long at all to build. But they would be fun. They'd be a fun thing. So if you want to buy me a 1-to-1 scale sushi shrimp version, you could do that. I don't know. That would be fun. I don't think that would take too long for me to build, but it would be a silly thing for me to build. So you could do that if you wanted to. You don't have to. You could. But I got Lego sets and model kits, inexpensive kits, and very expensive kits, some gear as well. I don't have anything really new added to the list. Eventually, the next Gundam series, those mobile suits will be available in the United States and start showing up on Amazon. And so I would be able to pick to add those in. Right now, I don't have those listed, but eventually I will, the new kits, because, new show, new kits, I'll build them. If you want to support me financially, but you don't want to go through Amazon, I have a wish list on Throne. You can check that out if you want to do that. And then if you want to support me the most convoluted way possible, if you want to support me financially and go through a lot of steps, you could do that. You go to USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card there. They will send you an email with the gift card code. Then you can send a whisper on Twitch or a DM on one of the many social platforms I'm on, like Twitter and Blue Sky and Mastodon, with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. That's just a possibility. That's just a thing you could do if you want to do it. You don't have to, but you could. You could do it. More people have done that than bought anything through Throne. which is always silly. It always makes me laugh that's true. And it is true. If you want to support me and not spend any money, I have a Discord. You can go hang out in my Discord. We'd love to have you over there on the Discord. I got a couple video links for you to check out. The most recent episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club is it's actually a manga club episode. I fooled you. I tricked you. It's actually a manga club where I talk about 6 manga that are fully released, fully translated, finished, done, and available in English if you want to read them. Some of them are in collections. They're printed. Some of them are online only or both. Check out that video for some recommendations, a variety of recommendations. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. Every week, I recommend a show in under a minute because they're YouTube shorts. This month, the theme is romance anime, be it drama or comedy. And so I talk about the comedic romance comedy series, comedic romance anime series. I said comedy twice there. Komi Can't Communicate, which is available on Netflix in 2 seasons. Komi Can't Communicate is a fucking lovely series, and you should check out my 1-minute video talking about how great it is. All right. I'm done talking about that stuff. Now I'm going to talk about a manga that I have been reading and an anime that I have been watching. And before we do that, we're going to dramatically transition to the overhead camera. I'm going to drink some water. We're going to hear the song we heard earlier again, and we're going to do all of that right now. Nice. All right, we're going to finish up these feet, and then we'll panel line these feet. Don't you worry about that. And I will start by talking to you about the manga. After 10,000 years of training in a super difficult dungeon, I became the world's strongest. The weakest incompetent gains the upper hand. This is a kicked from the party, abandoned style thing. It is not an isekai, but it is an overpowered main character. There's some stuff to unpack with this. Often, when I talk about manga that I am reading and enjoying, and sometimes not enjoying, but I still feel it's interesting to talk about, I don't talk about the art. I often don't talk about that. Even when I talk about anime, I sometimes talk about like the animation if it's like bad CGI mixed with digital animation and it doesn't look good. Like I'll talk about that now and again, but I rarely talk about an anime if I think that like, oh sorry, let me just real quick here. Or talk about a manga. I rarely talk about the art unless I really hate it. Unless it's like abhorrent to me and I just can't look at it. I don't talk about it. I talk about the stories and all of that and reason, things I like about it, things I don't like about it, those kind of things. So right before I got to the point where I'm caught up with the manga, the artists changed. So this series, I think the first 9 chapters, I want to say, maybe 10, around there, are all frenetic looking, kind of dirty, kind of like messy, but frenetic in the fight scenes. Looked pretty cool. Maybe amateurish, but like definitely of a style and interesting. And that's gone. They changed artists, and now it feels way more like cookie cutter and kind of more bland, but also very even. And it looks like the person who is doing the art right now remembers from scene to scene the relative heights of the characters. If that'll give you an indication about the kind of change I mean. But it's odd. It's odd to see that not just be like, oh, we're going to reboot this with a new artist. Like, no, we're just going to change artists and continue on. And it's like, oh, okay, that's strange. So that's a weird thing. Yeah, it's clean and modern instead of being a little bit of a throwback and looking kind of amateurish, but still having some heart. So that was a weird thing to get used to. Now, another thing to get used to with the story is that it feels incredibly rushed. There are a couple moments in this that, like by the end of the first chapter, he's trapped in the dungeon. So our dude, everybody gets gifts, and our guy Kai got a gift that was basically a curse. Like his physical abilities are actually reduced. So no matter how strong he gets, it'll always be reduced. And it's just like, and because of that, he's bullied and he's mistreated. And he has to leave his home, and he's kind of chasing after his childhood friend who had a great talent and got recruited. And now he's just kind of being like, well, I kind of want to see how she's doing and see if I can at least support her. And then he gets attacked. And in his effort to get away from this attack from another kingdom, he ends up in the hardest dungeon ever. He's trapped in this dungeon, and he has to clear the trial of the gods in order to get out of the dungeon. So basically, time freezes for him. Like, he continues to live in time, but he doesn't age within it. And he basically figures out how to kill a monster by taking advantage of the fact that the area he's in, he can get health potions and heal up. So he, over the course of 100,000 years, defeats this dungeon. And along the way, becomes incredibly powerful. He starts eating monster meat, absorbing powers. A thing that I like about this is, well, you'd think that after 100,000 years, he would go insane. And you're right. He clearly loses his fucking mind at one point. He starts building up these like impossible defeat bosses as challenges that he has to kind of, get through. And just he lost his mind at one point. To the point where he is ready to kill a dragon. And his bloodlust is so vicious that the dragon is just like, I don't want to fight you. I would like to not fight you because she's a dragon that's been abandoned in this world, in this dungeon, waiting for the person that would be strong enough to beat her. She turns out to be a cute young lady who has dragon powers, because of course, that's what it is. Then he learns eventually a subjugation method so he can defeat monsters and then summon them. He basically becomes a summoner, and he's got a book of that. And instead of just moving on, he goes, oh, well, I'm going to restart. I'm going to go to the low level and restart from level 1 and just capture a bunch of monsters, one of every kind. And he's definitely lost his mind still. They glance over it, and eventually we at the point where he beats the final boss, and he's out of the world, basically right where he left off, with the people that had been chasing him, and then also consequently a person near him who is a princess that knows his childhood friend, that he ends up helping out and being very overpowered, and it's totally cool. We don't see in the story, we do not see the part where he defeats the final boss, because all this dungeon shit was just to get to us to have an overpowered main character who doesn't realize how powerful he is because he's kind of lost his goddamn mind. So all of a sudden he has a butler, a lady dressed like a butler. And that's apparently the demon lord, the demon lord of the dungeon that he defeated. Which we saw off screen. She basically was like, I would also like to serve you. Please don't kill me. And then apparently that happened off stream. That happened off panel. And then the last couple chapters are him just being an overpowered main character and helping out somebody in need. And then also just being really strong. And hopefully soon he's going to have the opportunity to find... I'm sorry, I dropped a sprue here. Dropped some plastic, picking it up. There we go. Eventually he will hopefully be reunited with his childhood friend That's the plan anyway. Is it good? I don't know. Is it interesting? I think so. I think the first art style is frenetic in a way that's kind of unique to see these days. It gets blander, as I said, when they switched artists. But I don't regret reading it. I think it's like kind of cool, and like as I said, it moves. It's fast paced. Like you get to the thing pretty quickly. I can't say that about every manga out there. So yeah, I would say maybe give it a go. You could give it a go. All right, it looks like I did the inner workings of the leg, at least this one, correctly. This seems to be right. We'll find out if the other one was right, but this looks right. These bends look appropriate and proper. So, which is great to hear. I think I did this all right, because again, these will be a bit of a pain in the ass to undo. Not impossible, but a bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, so I need A16. Oh yeah, so now I can tell you about the anime that I have been watching, Sorairo Utility. Hey, I didn't realize it. It took me a long time to realize what utility means. That's the name of the cover for a golf club. The odd translation of that. That's what they mean when they say that. So that's what we're talking about here. Now, this episode is a tale of two. It's like two minor stories here. The first one, or a two-parter here. The first half is figuring out our girl Minami wants a super move. She thinks that's the way to get her up to the next level in golfing, is to have like a cool special move. And the second half of it is the three of them in a VR game, which is fun, like a VR golf game, which is a fun little bit of business. It opens with our friend, our main character's friend, Izumi, who I forgot about. We haven't really seen her. It was good that she was back. It's a good little joke here. She borrows a book, a light novel about golf, because she's just like, hey, I don't know how to relate to you and your new golf habits, but sorry, jeez. Look, I don't know how to relate to you about golf, but I've been reading this light novel and it's about a golfer. It's an isekai. So there is there's a light novel isekai joke in this, which I thought was really fun and really good. I wrote down the title. I paused so I could write it down. Don't fucking worry about it. So you would know what the title is. The title is Genius Middle School Pro Golfer Transferred to Another World, Hole-in-One Showdown with the Demon King at the 18th Hole. That's the full title of this fake light novel within an anime. And then there were like kind of like promo shots of the fake anime as well, which I thought was a good bit of business. I hope that there is a fake anime within the anime, because that's just a funny premise. And a really good, really long title for a fake anime, or fake light novel, I should say. So I thought that was really well done and silly in a way that I was into. All right, so what am I doing wrong here? One of these pieces might not be right. So I need C2. Is this C2? This is C2. Is this A122? A120. It's not. This is the wrong piece. I pulled the wrong piece out, everybody. It's okay. I fucked up, but I'll fix my mistake. It's very similar looking. That was my problem. Anyway, she reads it, and her big takeaway is, I need a finishing move. That's how I need a special technique. That's how I'm gonna up my game when it comes to golf. So she goes to the golf course. Welcome, Vash. She goes to the golf course to practice a new special technique, and then the three old guys that we've seen at the golf course a lot come up, and they also talk about how, we had I want to show you my dream technique. I got this. I was inspired by, a book years ago, or I was inspired by an anime. So let me show you my cool moves. And it fucking rules because the art style becomes very old school and traditional to kind of pair along with these old timers and their old timey things. It doesn't go 4-3, but like all of their special techniques like have a really old school retro vibe. And there's like, it is not hand drawn, but it's going for a hand drawn style to look like old retro anime. Like 80s anime or late 70s anime, and it's fucking awesome. So there's like a special song that plays. There's like an insert song that is very of the time and era that I was really jazzed about. It's just like this is a fun little bit of business. Also, of course, because they're old, we get the joke of these moves aren't good and also hurt them to do because they're old. They just like hurt their backs by doing these moves, and none of them are good, which I think is totally fun and very silly as well. But that's the obvious joke, which is okay, and they don't even work because they're pipe dreams. But yeah, it was a good bit. The whole thing was a good bit. I liked it. But then Minami's just like, okay, well, I'm going to be different. Like, I'm going to do this right. I'm going to figure out the move, my ultimate move. And she does figure out a move that's like kind of unique and kind of her own thing that she calls the penguin slider. Basically, she is hitting the golf ball really low to the ground. Like it's sliding a little bit. And also that goes along with the fact that the head cover for her club is penguin themed. And that's most of the big part of that episode was all of that and the silliness of that. A very fun episode for the first part. And then the virtual golf section was nice to get all three of them together. So that was fun. This is Ayaka set up an augmented reality golf game. So it's like VR and AR for them to play. And it's like mini golf. It's weird it's just an excuse for them to play weird mini golf with like some odd components. It was like not believable in any way, but whatever. It's anime. Who cares? But they play in one place that looks like Shibuya Crossing, which was kind of fun. And then at a certain point, we stop seeing the augmented reality like it's augmented reality, and we just see a fantasy world, like we just see their imagination, which is kind of cool and unique way to do it. We just kind of see like them. So it's basically just like the idea of kind of playing it like almost like they actually got isekai'd into a fantasy world, but they're not. It's just their imaginations with this AR game. And I don't know. I thought that was kind of a neat approach to do it. But yeah, it was all right. It was just like one thing I thought was very funny is this AR game clearly fucking sucks. Like it's just really annoying. Like there are ants that show up to steal their golf balls, and like that was very silly. And they won by filling up the ant hole with golf balls, and then like we also got to see Minami, like because it was miniature golf instead of regular golf, and artificial miniature golf, and that we got to see all three characters kind of be on even playing field, and that was kind of neat. And then we also got the benefit of Minami won with her new technique, so we got to see that in action, and that's kind of fun. And considering that she is a gamer coming into this, I think that's a fun idea of like the gamer being good at the video game, having a leg up on the clearly former pro golfer and the golf enthusiast streamer and video maker. I was like, that's pretty fun. So overall, my thoughts on this episode was this was a really fun one. I didn't love the previous episode, so I was really happy with this one. The series is still incredibly light. It's still it's toned down the like, these girls could be gay, hey, queer baiting. It's kind of toned that down a little bit and just being about 3 girls. And I don't hate that because I would rather it just be about 3 girls than them trying to tease us into thinking there's going to be more going on and then there isn't, because that obviously fucking sucks. So I'm not mad about that element of it. And just overall, I just enjoy the series. I'm having fun watching it. It's one of my favorites this season. So that's that. And now I'm going to find A110, and I'm going to put A110 on here. And we are almost done with this leg, which of course we will have to do a little panel lining. But we made some good progress here. We finished the arms, and we got one whole leg just about done, obviously outside of panel lining. So making some good progress tonight, which is nice. And then let's see if I can get this top piece in here, which would tell me that I did the right thing with how I constructed the leg, because it would be a real bummer if I did the leg wrong here. But, would it go back? Would it go in? Oh, no, it is better. Oh, no, I did do it wrong. Oh, no. Yeah, this slid right in like that and doesn't want to slide in this way. Vash says, I just found out about these master grade SD kits that look really cool. Yeah, I've built one of those. Of course, I've also built some of the EX kits as well. But yeah, those do look neat. They're a lot of work. The thing with the SD kits, as they get bigger, the stickers still don't decrease. Oh, okay. Whew, I didn't do it wrong. I just had to clip a little part that I didn't clip off. There was a little nubbin I didn't clip off. This fit on. I don't have to take this apart. I didn't do it wrong. Thank God. But yeah, my major thing about all SD kits is they're great, but they require so many stickers that a lot of times it becomes, even the EX ones, it becomes so much work. Because you have so many stickers to apply, but they do look rad. So, all right, I need 8, and 30, and then we can panel line this. So I'm done talking about the anime that I have been watching and the manga that I have been reading, and now I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? What do you got going on? I always love to hear from you about the stuff that you're excited about. I will tell you that on Tuesday, I did a stream here, which I was very happy with, where the first hour or so, I played Super Sorry, a game which I officially got stuck on that I think is pretty fucking fun and silly, and I was pretty into. And then I played a game about digging a hole, which is rad as hell. That game is $5. I think well spent. It was made by one artist in about 2 weeks, and then published by the people that are working on Solar Punk, which is awesome. And it like I said, it may feel like kind of a light game, but I think it is very cool. You bought it, but you haven't played it yet. Yeah, I have not finished the first thing, and in order to, there's more once you do the first thing. But I do want to do it. I have not. There are speed runs. Apparently, there's a glitch, and you can do it in under a minute. And then the non-glitch mode is like 9 minutes, and I have no interest in doing either of those. And I haven't watched them, but apparently they're there. And I've heard the ending isn't particularly great, but that's okay because I think the game is awesome, and I'm excited to check it out. So I'm probably gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna stream myself playing it again, but maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll beat it and then stream again and do the unlock or whatever, and see what's going on with that. But I do really enjoy it. Super Sorry, I think is fine. It's not on sale right now, so it's $6. I bought it for $5 when it was on sale. I wouldn't necessarily recommend getting that game. I don't think you need to get that game, but it was fun to play it. I would like to fucking somehow get past that level because there's more to it. I just can't fucking figure that out, which is really frustrating that I hit a dead end there. And then, so yeah, I've been playing those. I have been doing some prep work for a D&D one-shot that I am running for some friends that will happen this weekend. I watched some wrestling that was really fun this week. On Monday, and I didn't watch it until today, but on Monday they put up a thing. While AEW was in Australia, they did, for the live crowd, and of course taped, a Ring of Honor episode, like a bonus episode of Ring of Honor that featured like a lot of great, cool matches and some Japanese talent, or international talent, I should say, variety of talents, and it was really fun, called Global Wars. That was like just a good bit of business. And that was a really fun show to watch. Watch that today. And yes, Vash, I am saving that show, Wrestling on a Train. I am saving the Tokyo Just for Wrestling on a Train. I'm watching that this Sunday because I have a ongoing Sunday appointment where friends and I all watch the same wrestling together. And so we're going to watch the train match, the long train match, and then we're going to watch last weekend's show, which wasn't streamed live. This Friday, I'm going to watch this week's show because it's on early enough that I don't mind staying up to watch the whole thing because it's not a pay-per-view. Or not a pay-per-view. It's not a named show. It's not one of their big name shows like Grand Princess because those are often pretty long. This one will still probably just be like 2 hours, so I'll watch that when I can. But yes, I am going to watch the train show. I can't wait to see it. Gonna be real good. Let's see. Vash says I got the PCFX emulator running, trying to play the FMV 8 AJW, the All Japan Women fighting game, and I have no idea what I'm doing playing it. Yeah, I feel like you might have to try to find a review out there, like a video review or something. I'm sure somebody has figured that shit out, but yeah, I unfortunately, I cannot personally assist you in that, but I can say good luck to you because that sounds fucking awesome. Ooh, these legs look so good, panel lined. Hot damn. That looks so fucking good with a little bit of gray marker. God damn. Look at that. That's phenomenal. This side doesn't really do anything, but this side looks so good with panel lines. I'll show you. Compare these two pieces. That looks so much better with a little bit of marker. This is Nick. Just subscribe with Prime. Thank you so much, Nick. Let's throw the Bear Cave. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in chat. Thank Nick so much for resubbing with Prime. That's 11 months. Thank you so much, Nick. Appreciate you. We were talking a little bit about wrestling here, so it's a good time for you to pop in. But yeah, I got some Joshi to watch this weekend. The new one that comes out on Friday, I'll watch that live, and then Sunday we'll be catching up. At the very least on Sunday, I know we're watching the train show because I haven't seen that yet, and I got to see that shit. Let's see. Dirty says, played some Avowed, tried the whole digging game on the deck, and man, my battery died fast. Still watching Lucifer, and just finished the Parade mini game in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hell yeah. Dirty, Avowed is not for me, but I'm so glad that it's hitting for the people that want an Avowed game. It sounds like it might be hitting for people that were not super feeling great about like some other RPGs that came out pretty recently. So I'm glad folks are getting that game because it sounds like it's a good one of those. So hell yeah. I hope people are having a great time with it. That rules. Aristovan finished Visions of Mana, which was fine. I'm waiting for Pirate Yakuza to unlock, says Aristofan. Hell yeah. I do not... So, because I bought WWE 2K25, which is coming out next month. I am waiting for the Pirate Yakuza game. Like, I'm waiting for me to have the cash for it, but also maybe it'll come down in price at some point. Kind of waiting on that. Doing my best to, just to get it when I can, but not anytime soon. I do want to play that game because Majima as a modern day pirate is a very fucking fun, silly premise that I'm very interested in. Lord Crash says, I played a couple hours of Avowed, and it's neat so far. Not a fan of the fungal face stuff, though I found one that doesn't creep me out. Nice. I'm glad you found one that you can feel somewhat comfortable with. Yeah, I can understand why that would be a no thanks. It just sounds neat. And also, like, I don't know. That's a video game I wasn't expecting for people to feel so fucking happy about, and that makes me happy that people are happy about it. It's awesome. Love hearing about that stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Lashbrook watched the Guyver live-action movie today, and I think it holds up better than you would expect. I don't know about that. For me personally, I don't know about that. They said the titular Guyver does not come that across as cool as you might hope. Yeah, I remember that live-action movie being totally okay, and I did not feel particularly strongly about it. I don't think I have revisited it, but I did not love it when I first watched it, which was not when it came out by any means, but it was pretty early. It was a weird sound I just heard. I just heard a really weird sound. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. So that's weird. That's not great. You don't love to hear that weird sound that you're not sure about. It may have been somebody on the street, like parking, like brake skidding. I don't know. I don't know what that was, but it was a really strange noise that I'm confused about. Sorry. Also, Lashbrook says, I downloaded the City of Wolves playtest and found everything outside of playing matches very frustrating. That's a shame. I also played the Blood Typer demo, which is a game that just came out, and it's a cross between Typing of the Dead and a survival horror game. Okay. Speaking of demos, I would like to hear from you, friends, as you start to hear about them, if you see them this weekend. Next Tuesday, we're doing another Steam demo day, because we'll be smack dab in the middle of next Fest. So I would like to hear recommendations of stuff that you are really liking or you're hearing about. I need C2 right there. Great. I would love to hear from you about that stuff. Feel free to let me know on Saturday if you pick up anything or hear anything, or even on Monday. I'll keep asking about it. I know that we're going to check out Spray Paint Simulator because they'll have a new level for that. So I will check that out. But I do want to hear from people about that. I feel like this is going to come in hot. Where on Monday I'm going to be downloading, and Tuesday I'm going to be downloading a bunch of them. But we'll kind of just do the thing where, like, oh, this interests me. We'll load it up. Oh, okay, we'll move on. This isn't working right, or this is busted, or the controller support is really bad, or it doesn't have inverted camera controls for this one section, and Pat's having a bad fucking time dealing with it. But yeah, I'll go through and try to sort some stuff. But that's next Tuesday. We'll do that. I had a really good time the last time we did this, and it just kind of worked out. I already know some games I'll be playing next month, so it's just like, it's nice. Nice to know. Because we'll have the Wallace and Gromit DLC for Power Wash Simulator coming out soon. And then then we'll have WWE2K25 coming out soon. So we'll have some stuff to play in March that I know we'll be playing in March. And then some other stuff as well. But those are the ones that I know are coming out, and we can play those. And then I did say that at some point I was going to start a new randomizer, a new Pokemon randomizer. Either Soul Silver or Heart Gold. I don't know which one we're going to do, but we're going to do one of those two. And that'll be the next thing we do, but I just haven't committed to doing that yet. But we will do that. C12 and C11. Okay, gotta get those out. Oh, Lashberg says, I'm a terrible typist and you need to keep your hands in place to easily hit the shift key to rotate the camera, which made me a worse typer. Kind of wore out its welcome. Yeah, I'm not, hey, I've never really liked typing games. Like, even like Typing of the Dead, Mario Teaches Typing, like any of those things. Like, I don't want to gamify typing. You can gamify a lot of things and I'll be kind of into it. But that's one that I've never really gotten into. I think Typing of the Dead is a fun premise for a video game. It's just not a thing that I want to do. It's kind of always been my feeling on that. Like, oh, that's fun. I'm good. That's kind of how I've always been. I did talk about how I'm going to do a D&D one-shot this weekend. I'm very excited about that. I have been, I did some grocery shopping. I got some groceries delivered today, restocked things. I realized that my plans for next week, I basically, so a week from this Sunday, my folks are returning. So I have all of my meals planned out through next Saturday. But I don't have anything inventive next week. I didn't think of anything. I didn't come up with anything unique or interesting recipes. And I've been trying to do at least one new recipe or technique a week. Just something new that I haven't done before. And I don't have that for next week. So I'm like, uh-oh. So I still have some, so a few things that I'm like, okay, well, I do have a chicken breast. And I'm like, maybe I'll do something new or different with that. And I don't know what that could entail right off the bat, but I'm like, maybe I'll find some other way to do a little bit. I haven't done anything. I haven't done like I haven't poached a chicken breast in a while, so I could do that and like try to come up with something. I don't know. I'm going to look at what I have and see if there is a technique or method next week of doing something that I haven't done yet or done, just to kind of mix things up. But I'm a little bit, not worried, but I'm a little bit like, oh no, like, I don't know if I have anything. And that's just a guideline. That was mostly just like, I didn't want to do the same things over and over again. Like today I had a ham steak. Today's photo is one of the saddest looking photos of my entire project. If you want to go to my Blue Sky and see it, because it's just most of a ham steak, because I didn't eat the whole thing, that I grilled, and boiled potatoes. And then I had a salad, which I didn't take a photo of. And that's really bland and boring. I understand. I use a lot of salt when I boil my potatoes, and then I put butter on it, and it was really good. Here's the thing. It's nostalgia. It's the worst kind of nostalgia, because it's nostalgia for a thing that's not particularly great, but ham steak and boiled potatoes, like, reminds me of childhood. That is a very Irish American like thing of just like, we're going to get a big ham steak and I'm going to boil up a bunch of potatoes because those potatoes are too small to bake. So we'll boil them up and then we'll have them with green beans. And I didn't do that. Instead of that, I did a salad because I had just gotten groceries, and today's the day you get it is the best day to get into your lettuce. So I did that. But I know that it was very boring, but like I said, it was really nostalgic. And I'll hopefully have some more interesting photos for things that I'm doing. I'm doing chicken thighs tomorrow, but I'm going to do my chicken thighs over rice and mixed vegetables. And that's going to taste really good. Going to be real good. Also, the boiled potatoes that I had left over because I made extra, because why not make extra? I have that and some of the ham steak that I didn't need to eat for dinner, and I'm going to cook that up tomorrow with eggs and probably onion and some peppers, and then throw some cheese on top of that. I'll season the potatoes for tomorrow, and that's going to be a really fucking tasty lunch, because I don't eat breakfast. I eat like basically at like 10 or 11, depending on what I got going on that day. I just eat lunch, dinner, and then late night and second dinner, which I'll have after this. Luck Russian says, if you enjoy it, nothing else matters. Yeah, but like I said, it's not that I didn't want to have that. I picked it. I saw that there was a ham steak on sale, and I bought a ham steak because I was like, ooh, I haven't had that in a while. That'll be good. Also, ham is very salty. My dad pretty much can't have ham these days, so why not get it while he's not around so he doesn't have to look at me eat lovely ham. Salty, salty ham. But I was just saying, like, the photo is very bland looking. It looks like I had just a very bland dinner of boiled potatoes and ham and a salad. This is very, very boring. And it's just funny that I took a photo of it, but it's like, whatever. I've taken a photo of all my meals. But yeah, I have, I mean, I'm going to need odds and ends, right? You always need odds and ends. I have the base and enough stuff for everything so I don't have to go grocery shopping again. Like, I'll probably want more soda. I might want more chips. I might run out of cucumber or my lettuce or just stuff like that. Like, I might run out of things before my folks get back. Also, I don't know if they want to, like, make dinner when they come back. I have to find out. I'm going to find out this weekend. Because if they do make dinner, then I need to get something for that. But I have my meals planned out. I like planning out in advance. I'm not a night before, think about what you're going to have the next day. I like to plan stuff out. That's how I operate, especially when I'm buying all my own groceries. But I have tortillas left, so I'm going to make tacos, make some soft shell tacos twice, I think, is enough. You know, a pound of ground beef is enough for 2 dinners and like a lunch, you know, certainly. So I'll have some tacos, because also it's not like I'm just going to have tacos. I'll have tacos with, you know, roasted potatoes and also the taco seasoning, because I made my own taco seasoning, so I might as well keep making tacos. But there's a few, you know, I'll have that. God, this looks so good. These legs look so nice. I'll have that. I'll have, like I said, I do have the chicken. I have to figure out how I want to have that. I want to do tuna on a salad one day, because I have a bunch of tuna fish, tuna salad on a salad, on a day where I'm like going to go, because I'm going out to lunch with a couple people in the neighborhood. And that'll be a very heavy lunch, so I want something light that night, nice and easy. You know, just something. Figure it out what I want, when I want it, and just kind of figure out like those things. I think will be real good. Some good choices here for some meals upcoming. The best thing I made was my slow cooker beef. I do have some steak. Some like steak for stir fry, and I'm gonna make a fried rice, like a steak fried rice next week, and that'll be really good. I have enough onion, and I got more pepper for that. The meatloaf I made was really tasty. You know, I did all right. I think I did okay on the various things and things that I made. I was pretty pleased with how all of that turned out. Like I said, I'm feeling pretty calm. The slow cooker beef did not freeze well, which I now know it's probably because of the cornstarch. That didn't freeze particularly well, but that was still good. I made gravy for the first time in a long time. The first time I ever made gravy out of beef broth. So that was a new experience that I was happy to do. Happy with how that turned out. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about my some of the food stuff here. Made fajitas, and that tastes really good. Like I said, I made my own taco seasoning. I've never made that before, so that felt really good to do that. Just like lots of stuff that I was pretty happy with how they turned out. Also, happy with how this kit is turning out. Segue. Transition into the wrapping up the show. This is turning out great. This is looking really awesome. We'll put that like that. Get a good photo going here. We're done with the legs. We work on the waist. We'll connect it. We've got a lot to do with bonus stuff here, so I don't think we're going to finish this up on Saturday, because we still have the waist. We still have the backpack, which is also the cockpit. We have to build the base for it. And then we have all of the weapons, the many weapons to build, and the cool particle effects. So I don't think we're going to finish this kit till Monday, but I ain't complaining about finishing this by Monday because it just fucking rules and it's so cool looking. So we'll keep working on this on Saturday. Maybe we'll get body complete on Saturday for sure, and then we'll be able to start building some other stuff on this. But we'll get some photos here of this kit looking rad. I'll get a photo posted on my socials at the end of this stream, which is just about now. So what we're going to do here is we are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find someone doing cool shit that we want to go hang out with, and we'll go spend some time with them. So I hope you will come along on this raid. I don't know who we're going to raid. I'm going to find out right now. And then I'll be back on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern for another model kit building stream. Keep working on this cool kit. Who are we going to go raid? Who is doing stuff? Let's see. Let's see. Let me see how long my friend has been going. A friend of mine's doing a night stream. He doesn't often do night streams, so I want to see how long he's... Oh, he's been going for 8 hours. I have no idea how long he's going to keep going, but I don't want to go there. Because like I said, he's been streaming for 8 hours, and that's too many hours playing Path of Exile. I love Adam, but I don't want to encourage that behavior. Let's go hang out with my friend Xandra. Xandra has been doing a stream here, playing with a friend. They have been playing... let's see. Oh yeah, they're playing some retro games. They're doing a gauntlet of retro game stuff, which seems very cool. So we'll go hang out with Xandra. Xandra rules. I hope you'll come along on this raid. Xandra made all my emotes, and she is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I hope you come along on this raid. I hope to see you on Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern as I continue to work on this very fucking cool model kit, and we'll get body complete on that kit. So thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I hope you have a good weekend and all that. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.